Here we are for the second part of the video. So if we go back to what we were talking about, so if I can do it. Okay, so we were talking about the atmosphere, so how fear and anxiety was created. So created by the fact that it's a dark and gloomy atmosphere, because it takes place at night. This fear and anxiety is also reinforced by the general mystery around this short story. So mystery because the narrator is unknown, the old man is unknown, the relationship between the old man and the narrator is unknown, the setting and the place is not described. The space seems to be enclosing and imprisoning. The reality of this supposed vulture eye is not known, and we've got also the mystery around the sound and what it can signify. So, mystery reinforces this fear and anxiety. And as in any Gothic story, and here it's almost merging into an horror story, there is suspense. So suspense is this idea that you can feel that there's a threat of a terrifying action that is coming. You've got some clues, you can feel it, and this creates tension until this terrifying action is happening. But what creates suspense is it's mainly what happens before the terrifying action. So if you take your the correction of the short story that I underlined, you've got two moments where this mystery is really at its climax. And it's the role of this sound, which is becoming louder and louder, which creates this rising action until the final criminal deed. So, if I can find it, So, mostly at the end, what you can notice at the end in the last paragraph, last but least paragraph, so this paragraph, so it really focuses only on the sound and on the reaction of the narrator. And you've got a certain pattern which is emerging. So you've got the sound increased, or the sound became louder. You've got a question, then a sentence, and then a but. And then it repeats again. The noise increased, then a sentence about the eye and its reaction, and then a but. The noise increased. Question, so a question that is asking himself. The reaction of the narrator, the but. Then a new question, sentence with the eye, but the noise arose and increased. It grew louder, louder, louder. And then here, so you really have the climax of the tension which was created by the repetition, the question and the but and this pattern. And here this pattern explodes because it goes in every direction. You don't have any repetition, but form the idea that the narrator can't contain himself, and you've got a form of explosion in the narration, which is imitating, in a way, the confession of the narrator. So the use of punctuation in this short story is really taking part of the suspense. The repetition is the same technique, and the idea of pattern which creates the rising tension and this suspense that the reader can feel until the climax of the threat. So this is it. If we go back, so in terms of atmosphere, I think we have said everything. Now, what are the effects on the reader? The goal of the short story, as we said, in our introduction, is to create an effect on the reader. It's not just reading peacefully, but the reader has to get out in a way from his reading with a physical feeling. It has to be a physical reading. So you can, as we said, you can feel repugnance, a real physical repugnance for the man who committed the crime, and what he does to the corpse and the details that he's giving with how he rationalizes what he does with the corpse after the crime is really chilling the blood, because he explains in details why he does this and what he does. He really explains what he does. A form of yet you've got a form of fascination for this narrator, because as we said at the beginning of the short story, the narrator establishes a direct communication with you, with the reader, and it seems that you, as the reader, you are an accomplice to the crime, to his crime. And since the beginning, he tries, and you can see that there are repeated questions addressed to the reader all along the short story, and the narrator is constantly drawing the reader towards him to make the reader curious, and to make him, in a way, a form of accomplice to his crime and a witness of the fact that he's mad or not. So, globally, after reading this short story, you feel really uneasy and uncomfortable because you've got a full confession at the end. The murder is totally unjustified. He just says that this is the vulture eye which prompted him to kill, and we don't even know if this vulture eye exists. So it makes us uncomfortable because there is no reason behind this murder. It is a motiveless murder. And what makes us also uncomfortable is that the murderer is constantly boasting about his crime and in a way is showing off and tries to show how clever he was. So you can see it in the use of adverbs. So if you take the correction, so it's in black. So you've got a tone of adverb, of adjective, which is used by the narrator to praise his own action and to show that he's really clever. So wisely, gently, slowly, and you've got lots of repetition, slowly, very, very slowly, steadily, cautious, courageously, my feelings of triumph. You've got plenty of others on the next picture, on the next page. Very patiently, stealthily, etc., etc. So the narrator really wants to show off and to show to the reader that he's a clever murderer. The reader should be proud and honored to be, in a way, an accomplice to such a clever murder. So this is how the reader is going to feel after reading this short story. So we talked about the aim of the Gothic and this idea of showing the frontier between what is moral and not moral, and to re-establish the values of the society. So here, there's maybe another interpretation. So if you take into account the evil eye. So the evil eye is in some culture represented like this, and in some cultures seen as something superstitious in Turkish culture, and seen as something which brings bad luck. And we can see a parallel, and you can see a play on word between the evil eye, so the eye of your face, and the I, the letter I, which refer to you, to the identity of the narrator. And so here, the evil eye of the old man and the eye of the narrator can be seen as the same person, and can be seen as the double. The figure of the double is really is very present in Gothic fiction, and this double side of one man can be seen as two opposite sides, to the good and the bad, the good and the evil, sometimes. And so here the narrator, so the I, is killing the other I, which is part of himself, and so is in a way is killing himself, and not only killing the old man. So we can interpret it in different ways. So the old man can represent the good side of himself, the rational side, whereas the narrator represents the evil side, or we can say it in the other way around. But this idea that the old man is just a double of the narrator is often developed in this short story, and the fact that he is killing one of his side. Yes, he's killing one of his side. Moreover, you've got the importance of number, significance of number. So we have said that the old man is killed on the 8th day, after 7 days or 7 nights of checking into his room, and so we can make a parallel with the Bible and how God created the earth, man, the plants, etc. So God needed 7 days to create this world, and the 8th day represents the new beginning. So here it can be interpreted in this way. It means that the 8th day corresponds to a new beginning for the narrator, where he has gotten rid of his double parts, and this idea of trying to reestablish himself as a whole I, one and unique. So this is one interpretation, but there are lots of interpretation in this short story. But this, the image of the double, is part of the Gothic and horror story. And finally, the title. So the title, The Telltale Heart. So first you need to notice that you've got a repetition of the same sound, telltale, so A and A. You can also notice an alliteration in T and L. And this idea that you've got a free sentence with 3 beats, the telltale heart. So all of this contributes to create a form of beating, the telltale heart, the form of free beating, which can remind us of the beating of the heart, the beating of the old man in this situation. So this heart, so if we imagine that this heart is the heart of the old man, we can say that this heart, even after death, is beating because the old man wants to say something, wants to express something. He wants to tell a tale, so he wants to tell the story of his death. Right. So this is one interpretation. And the heart is also the heart of the narrator, and so the heart of the narrator, who tells also a story, because this is what he says in the first paragraph, and the fact that we can wonder whether this tell, so tell like this, is really the reality, or if it's only a tale that is an imagined stories, and if he's really mad or not. So there is lots of there is a real ambiguity, but the heart can correspond to the old man and to the narrator, and they both tell their tales. So this is it.